Harley, hey Harley, was barking at me. I gave him a bully stick. We're going to see if he does what he was doing before. He was basically sticking his nose underneath my hands and nudging me pretty firmly, telling me that it's time for me to pet him. You gonna do it again? No, of course. Now that we're filming it, you're not gonna do it. So dogs, basically, just like us, there's certain things we like doing and certain things we don't like doing. If I like getting my shoulders rubbed by my girlfriend, if I tell her, rub my shoulders, she's probably less inclined to do that than if I ask her, hey babe, I got a little bit of a tight back here. You think you could give me a little bit of a massage? Asking versus telling. And this is something that I see a lot of people have a problem with their dogs on. I just walked in. We really haven't had a chance to talk about anything, but I mean, he was just barking like crazy. I gave him a bully stick, and we have a bully stick that's preoccupying here. Already ate the bully stick, Now I want more attention. I want you to pet me or whatever it is. I consider petting a dog our way of paying the dogs. I've only been here for less than 5 minutes, and I've watched both dog guardians reach over instinctively and pet their dogs anytime they invaded their personal space or just got even close. So if I get paid at my job, whether I do my job or not, I'm less inclined to do my job, especially if it's parts of my job that I don't particularly enjoy doing. Now, I enjoy everything I do as a dog behaviorist, but if I had a different job and there's something I didn't like doing and that was optional, I would probably never do it. So when the dogs nudge us, they're giving us an order. They're telling us what to do rather than asking. So what I would do from now on is anytime the dogs nudge you, instead of petting them, which is reinforcing that behavior, I would ask you to give them a counter order. Ask them to sit or lie down. For dogs, sitting and lying down are more subordinate positions, and so it helps the dog kind of see us as a little bit more of an authority figure. Additionally, we're kind of introducing the concept, if you tell me what to do, nothing happens. If I tell you what to do and you do it, there is a benefit or a reward for that. This is the benefit of positive dog training. So if I punish the dog or yell at the dog or shove the dog away when it nudges me, that's usually not negative. That's the dominance theory. I don't believe in that. What I do is simply ignore, and I'm not going to give the dog what it wants. I'm not going to pet it. I'm going to tell it to sit. As soon as it sits, then what I usually like to do is I like to pet them under their chin. When a dog feels good about what it's done, its nose is parallel to the ground or tilted upward. If we pet a dog on top of their head, their nose orientation goes down, and that's what insecure dogs do. So when I tell the dog to sit, if the dog sits, I pet it under his chin, and I just say the word sit. Most of us talk way too much to our dogs. If we had a crappy day, I can come home and say, oh my God, can you believe that person cut me off, and then when I honk, they here we go, demand. That's a healthy thing to do. But if I'm training my dog, I want to just say just the command word. So sit. So I want to facilitate that nose-up orientation and at the same time help the dog understand that when it does what I want to do, there's a benefit to it. So there's more inclined to do that in the future. We call it learning to mand when a dog understands if I go sit in front of a human, I can influence their behavior. So the more that we do this, the more the dogs will, instead of nudging the humans, because that no longer gets my attention, instead, what I do is I'm gonna sit in front of the humans. As soon as I do that, they start petting me. I'm gonna distract you and let you smell that, so the people at home don't have to hear that. All right, so the more after we do this enough, the dogs will come, instead of nudging us for attention, the dogs will come and start prepaying by sitting down and saying, look, I'm sitting pretty in front of you. Shouldn't you be hooking me up with a little attention? And we should whenever possible. Now, we don't realize how often we pet our dogs. I had a woman in Santa Monica I was working with, and her dog's on the couch, and I asked her, okay, I'm going to ask you to stop petting your dog. She goes, okay. Okay, so from now on, I want you to start petting your dog with a purpose. You're petting your dog again. 3 times in the course of 15 seconds of me explicitly saying, don't pet your dog, she reached over involuntarily to pet her dog. So if we have someone at home, they can help us with this by saying the word paycheck. Because again, I consider this being paid. So if someone comes to the room and sees that I'm petting the dog and the dog's standing up, they say paycheck, I immediately throw my hands in the air, I say sit. When the dog sits, then I pet under the dog, under the chin, I say sit. Just the command word, not good sit, not the dog's name, just the word sit, 1 time. Then I can pet him for an hour after that, as long as I want to. But if we start arguing about it, then the dog's like, oh, they're on their own page, I can be on my own page too. So when we say paycheck, we're helping each other out. But if the dogs get whatever they want, whenever they want, we create a situation like this where basically the dogs are petulant. If they don't get their way, they throw a temper tantrum. So what I would recommend that you do is change that dynamic and stop petting the dogs. And I had somebody online tell me, you're mean. You told people not to pet their dogs at all. Most people are not going to do that. We should never pet the dog when it demands, especially in this situation, attention by nudging us. But if I just want to pet the dog, and this is a demand to do it as well. So if I'm petting the dog and the dog puts his paw up here, I immediately stop petting. But if I just want to pet Rudy because I feel like it, not because he asked for it, I'm going to ask him to sit or to lie down. And as soon as he sits, I pet him and say sit, then I can pet him for an hour. But I'm just going to avoid petting him for no reason, because if I get money for no reason, I don't have any motivation to do my job or to go to work or do the things I need to do. So we're basically creating a situation where we're telling them, if you want something human, you don't get to tell them what to do anymore. If you tell them, guarantee you will not get what you want. If you ask them and do something to pay for it by showing desired actions or behaviors like obedience, then the human will pet you and reward you. And after a while, that's the behavior the dogs will start to exhibit, is the sitting for attention as opposed to pawing at or barking to demand attention. So this is a little segment I like to call petting with a purpose.